The message arrived on a Tuesday afternoon while I was sitting at my desk pretending to work. It was from my sister, Lena. The subject line read, "Wedding planning, gift coordination." At first I assumed it was something practical. Maybe she wanted help organizing a registry or coordinating relatives who were flying in. Instead, it was a list, a very neat list. Car, apartment down payment, 2 designer bags, honeymoon upgrade. At the bottom she wrote, "Since you're the one who's doing well financially, these can be your wedding gifts to us." I read it twice, then a third time slower. It didn't feel like a joke. The formatting alone suggested she'd thought about it for a while. I leaned back in my chair and stared at the ceiling. Growing up, Lena had always been the one people adjusted around. If she wanted something, the house moved to make space for it. Our parents called it confidence. I called it gravity. Things just bent toward her. And for a long time, I didn't mind. I was the quiet one, the one who solved problems without much discussion. When money was tight for the family years ago, I helped where I could. Tuition, repairs, emergencies, none of that bothered me. But this felt different. Not help, not support, expectation. I spent the rest of the afternoon thinking about how to respond. Part of me wondered if weddings just made people strange for a while. Stress, pressure, 1,000 opinions coming from relatives. Maybe she didn't realize how it sounded. So I wrote back carefully. I congratulated her again. Told her I was excited for the wedding. Then I explained, calmly, that those kinds of purchases weren't something I could do. I said I'd still love to give her a meaningful gift and help with the wedding in other ways. It took less than a minute for my phone to ring. Lena. I let it ring twice before answering. Her voice came out sharp, already mid-anger. "So you're serious?" I kept my tone even. "About what?" "About refusing. You're the only one in the family who can afford this." The conversation didn't last long. Every explanation I gave sounded, to her, like rejection, not limitation. Finally she said something that landed with a strange finality. "Fine. If you're not supporting me properly, then don't even bother coming." There was a small pause after that, as if she expected me to scramble and correct things. I didn't. "Okay," I said quietly. Then the call ended. For the next few days I assumed she would cool down. Instead the calls started. First from our aunt, sounding confused. Then from our cousin, trying to play mediator without quite knowing what the issue was. A few relatives hinted that Lena was hurt. Others suggested maybe I misunderstood her request. No one directly said I should buy the things. But the pressure hovered there. I didn't argue with anyone. And I didn't explain much either. Lena had said not to come. So I didn't. The wedding was on a Saturday. I spent most of that day doing normal things. Grocery shopping. Cleaning the apartment. Watching half a movie without paying attention to it. By evening, the photos started appearing in the family group chat. Lena in a bright white dress, her husband smiling beside her. Decorations that looked expensive but slightly rushed. People posing at round tables. Something about the photos felt stiff. Not bad, just slightly tense around the edges. I muted the chat and went to bed. 2 days later my mother called. She sounded tired. "Your sister is upset," she said. I waited. "She told everyone you were bringing some big gifts." I didn't respond right away. Apparently Lena had mentioned it several times while planning the wedding. That I was covering certain things. That the honeymoon upgrade was already handled. People had believed her. So when I didn't show up, and none of those things appeared, the questions started quietly circulating during the reception. At first it was polite curiosity. Then confusion. Eventually, awkwardness. Relatives asked Lena what happened. Some thought maybe there had been a delay. Others wondered if something had gone wrong between us. Each explanation she gave seemed to create another version of the story. And by the end of the night, people had started comparing notes. That was when the tone shifted. Not toward me. Toward her expectations. I heard bits and pieces over the following week. An uncle mentioning that weddings weren't supposed to come with financial ultimatums. A cousin quietly admitting the list sounded a little extreme. Even my aunt, who usually defended Lena about everything, sighed and said, "That was a lot to ask." No one made a dramatic scene, no family confrontation. Just a gradual recalibration of how people understood what happened. A few days later Lena finally texted me, not an apology, just a short message. "You embarrassed me." I read it once and set the phone down. For a long time, I had assumed refusing her would tear the family apart. Instead, the world kept moving. The wedding happened. People went home. Life resumed. The only thing that had really changed was something quieter. For the first time, I hadn't bent. And somehow, the family hadn't collapsed because of it.